Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Concept Wellbeing, the podcast where the intention is well. My name is Jade,
And I'm Aileen.
and we're going to be your host for today's episode. If you're new here, hi. If you're a reoccurring listener, welcome back. We're going to start off today with our grateful moment. I'm going to go first. All right.
Let's hear it.
This one just came to me today. All right. So today I went downstairs. I got my little Amazon package. That's the only time I check my mail is when I get a package. I don't know. Do you check your mail other than like when you
No.
get a package? Okay. Yeah. So and literally sometimes I'll like go around the mail just to get my package, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. So I went downstairs to go get my package. It's minding my own business, and there's like four people waiting for the elevator, myself included. And it's me, two guys, and a girl. And the girl is on the phone. And I think she's like talking to her friend or something, like trying to tell her to come downstairs. So the way that my apartment complex works is like you need like a fob key to pretty much get everywhere. And
Hmm.
so like to get into the building, you have to fob in, or like you have to have like someone has to send you like a number to get in. And then to get into the elevator to go to a different floor, you have to have a fob key and like fob it to go to each different floor, and then another fob for your door. So, um I don't let people in. Like I'll let people into the building but not like into the elevator, right? And
Hmm.
so that's just like it's just a safety thing, and I think like living in the city it's important. I mean, just being a woman, it's just important to be like hyper aware of your safety. And so I just don't do things for people sometimes, like even though it's not like the nicest thing, like I would love to be like, sure, let me help you. It can be kind of dangerous. So, I fob to my unit number or whatever, or unit floor, and then the two guys fob to their floor, and the girl is like on the phone, and we hear her like she's like, "And what floor is it? Is it like come get me?" Da, da, da," right? And I am like listening to her, but I mind the business that pays me. And I get into the elevator, the two guys get into the elevator, and the girl like puts her hand, she's like, "Wait, is this going to like, I don't know, the sixth floor or something?" And we're like, "No, it's not." And she's like, we're like looking at her like, "Are you gonna get in or get out?" And so she's like, "No," because we're all just like, "What?" And she's like, "How do I get?" And like the elevator's closing, and I'm just standing there like watching the whole thing unfold because she's making eye contact with the boy, not me. And so like she's like, "Well, like I need to get to the 20 like fifth floor or something like that." And we're just like, okay. And then the elevator closes and we're all just standing there. And I was just like, mm. And he's like, "I don't let people into the elevator because I just like, you just never know." And he looks at me and he's like, "Do you do that?" I was like, "Nope." And in that moment, I was so grateful because I really feel like my neighbors are like on the same wavelength as me. Is like, don't just let anyone into the apartment complex like through the elevators and stuff like that, because then it's dangerous for all of us. So I'm very grateful for my neighbors. I think they're top tier. I also have another neighbor. He let me borrow his step stool the other day, and I was very grateful for that because why don't I have a step stool and I'm 5'2"? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And this man is probably like 6'5" and he has a step stool. I'm like, what are you can't you reach everything? I don't know. But
You
he let
never
me borrow
know.
his step stool. Yeah, like, and he was like, the pause that he took when I was like, do you have like a ladder or something that I could borrow?" And, like, I realized, I was like, "I should have this." Like, this is something I've been here for, like, a year
Do
and
you
a
know
couple
this
of months.
neighbor? Or did you just
Um,
randomly ask, like, hey, knock
I
on your
feel
door, can
like
I borrow something?
no. So what happened was what happened was, so I painted, like, 2 big pictures, right? And, like, they needed to, like, air out, and I wasn't gonna let them air out inside of my apartment because, like, I'm not into things off gassing into my apartment. Like I use like non-toxic paint, but just to be careful, I was like, let it off gas for a couple of days outside. And so I was like putting the hooks into the picture frames in the hallway, and my door was open, and he was coming back from walking his dog. And I was like, I was about to hang them. I didn't know how I was gonna hang them, Aileen. Like in my head, I was like, I'll figure it out. And he walks by, and I was like, let me just ask him, do I know him? Yes, I know his name, but we're not like besties. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just
Mhm.
like a neighborly like if I see him, I'll throw him like a head nod and be like, "Hey, what's up? How's your day?" Cool.
Got
Like
it,
if we're
got it.
waiting for the elevator, we'll like make small talk and that's about it. But I feel like the neighbors on my floor are very like nice. Like everyone's very I feel like everyone feels very safe. There's like a couple neighbors that just like leave their shoes outside, which I think is a little bit like it's very trusting because I'm like, they're nice shoes. And so, like, I get that they're like, oh, no shoes inside the house, but I'm like, you have to really trust your neighbors to just be leaving shoes outside of your
Mhm.
apartment like that. That's really crazy. And it's like, it's not just one, it's like maybe like four or five. And every time I bring a guest, they're like, y'all just got shoes. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. The trust is there. So, anyways, I'm grateful for my neighbors. That is my grateful moment. What is yours?
I love that, I love that. I am grateful for the house I live in
Okay.
because after traveling and being in freaking hotels, there's nothing like your house where you're comfortable, you have your bed, you have everything here. Versus you go to
Agreed.
a hotel, you can't figure out the freaking air, like heater thing and air conditioning thing, so you're freezing. And I don't know, some of them are like old, you know? I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you come
Do
home and
you
it's like, ah, I'm home.
I fully like coming home after like being in a hotel is top tier. Do you do I this is very specific. I feel like this is very niche. Like right before you leave, I know you travel a lot, so actually this might not be like I feel like I travel less frequently than you. But like do you do the thing where like you like deep clean like your room before you leave so then when you come home like like you get back and your room is all clean and everything? Do you do that? Or is that just me?
Sometimes.
Okay.
So I do it sometimes, but when I didn't do it this last time,
Mhm.
so when I got back, I legit just cleaned my room. It has to be clean now. So like my I think I do it more when I get back because I unpack everything.
Ah,
And it's
okay.
like I gotta wash some clothes, I gotta put away stuff. So I usually do it then. And then it's like, okay, all my stuff's away, everything's clean, it's great.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I do it before and
Which
it's like a
is
mad dash. Like I'm like I need to deep clean like I'm cleaning the shower. Like cleaning like the sink and everything. Like I want it when I get back to be like, "Oh, oh yeah, this is so nice." That's
so I
the way
used
I
to
do
do
it.
it at my
Mhm.
apartment, but here I don't.
Got it. That actually makes sense. Fair.
Yeah,
Fair.
yeah.
Okay. You're grateful for your home. I feels. I
Mhm.
feels. All right. Are we ready to move into our main topic for today?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so today we're keeping it light, y'all. We're keeping it real light and fun. We're going to do just what we would tell our younger selves. I think we're going to focus it on mental health because we're still in our mental health bag. We're still in our mental health era, if you will. Um, but yeah, I haven't put too much thought into it, so I feel like this is going to be off the cuff. So I really haven't, but I was talking to one of my friends on TikTok and we were talking about how I'm just kicking it off at this point. Um we were talking about the stress that we used to put on ourselves as like children and like literally, I was like in second grade stress, like in my business casual era, like, oh, I need to like make sure that I'm coloring inside the lines. Long division used to stress me out. And it's like I was a child and I was so stressed out for what? So I feel like my first thing that I would tell my younger self is to just be a child. Like for real, just chill. Like it's really not that serious. That's my first thing.
But it's funny that you say that because I feel like when we're younger, we always strive for independence and to be an adult and to prove ourselves. Versus now that we're adults, I say young adults still, but
I'm always gonna be a youth. So yeah. I don't know what you're talking
I'm
about.
always a youth. What are you talking about? Um, I think it's I there's just so much like I wish I could go back and tell myself like stop trying to grow up so fast. Like your youth is like such a special time. Like sometimes I hate adulting, okay? Like I don't want to go to work. I don't want to be responsible, whatever. When you're a kid, you can just be like, "Okay, whatever. This is fun," because your parents take care of you.
Yeah.
So, valid point. I agree. I think I would tell myself the same thing. But I think for me, the biggest thing I would tell myself is I think I'm an overthinker, right? So when I was younger, I would overthink everything. Like I would overthink, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. What do I want to do? Da 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 da. I'd just be like, calm down and enjoy the moment. Stop stressing over that crap and just enjoy the moment
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're
I
never going to get that time back.
100%. 100%. I felt. I feel that 100% because things are going to work out the way that they're supposed to work out, no matter how much you think about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you overthinking things does not help whatever's going to happen. I mean, to be fair, there's negatives and positives to overthinking in my head, right? Like, I'm like, okay, I have thought of every possible worst case scenario. So, like, if something bad really does happen, I won't be that surprised. Like, I won't be like, oh, I never saw that coming. I'm like, no, I ran through that scenario. So there's
Hmm.
that. But most of the time that doesn't happen. So like then it's just like you sat there overthinking for what? That didn't help. That didn't help the situation.
Exactly.
So like just go with it. It's gonna unfold the way that it's supposed to unfold. And it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Until, it really is okay. It'll be fine. Until you die. So
There you go.
so there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is really like stop comparing yourself to others.
Aileen, you are preaching tonight. Excuse me. Excuse me. That is a word. I like, okay, keep going. I'm sorry. Like,
No, but
you
it's
like
true. It's
shocked
like
me.
I feel like we do at a young age, and we're always comparing each ourselves to other people, and it's like, who cares? You are who you are, accept yourself. You
Yeah,
are great the way you are. And I think there's just so much going on when you're young that you're like, oh, well, I need to be like them, or I need to do this or do that or whatever. And it, I think it kind of affects you as you get older, right? Because you focus so much on that when all it is who cares? You're perfect the way you are. Be happy, live your life, and live in the moment.
I
I don't know.
fully agree with you. And I feel like I know I'm still a youth and I still have to remind myself that yesterday was the youngest I'll ever be. And I still have to remind myself to do that. So I
Yeah.
fully agree. One thing I would tell my younger self would be don't take advice from people that aren't doing exactly what you want to do. So, like, if
100%.
they're not where you want to be, don't take their advice. Like, it's not helpful. And honestly, most people give you advice and they're just projecting. Like,
Yeah,
some
yeah.
people wish you the best. Some people are like, they're letting their like situations come into like their advice. And so my advice would be, and this even speaks for what I'm about to say right now. Like, don't take advice from me if I'm not like where you want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't
Right,
listen.
right.
Oh, well, hang on. Don't not listen. Like, keep listening. But I got a little too much dip on my chip there. Hold on. Continue to listen. But I'm just saying, like, pick and choose what resonates with you. If I'm not in a place where you want to be, why would you listen to me? You'd be like, what do you know? You know? Like,
Right.
that doesn't make any sense. And I think in the past I've listened to people just because I'm like, oh, you're older than me and so you must know more than me. And that is not the truth because when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, 35 is old.
Oh, yeah.
35 is not old.
Mm-mm.
And I've met some 35-year-olds and I'm like, you have no idea what you're doing. And I would not trust you with like my water bottle. Like, be so for real. So that would be my advice to my younger self is just really go with your gut on what you want to do. I think listening to other people is not helpful. Other people are on different paths. Follow your own.
Yeah, yeah. And I agree. And I think I need to put myself into check sometimes because now that I'm older, I try to give advice to other people when maybe it doesn't work, right? So I think now the advice that I give is more be yourself, do something that you love, especially when it comes to like school and career advice. I'm like, the money doesn't matter. You want to wake up every day and do something that you love, right? But I think you're 100% right about taking advice. Take advice from people that are in the place that you want to be, but also to add to it is surround yourself with people that challenge you
Yeah.
and people that are not, you know what I mean? Like people that
Mhm.
you want to be like.
Yeah.
Because, hey, you can surround yourself with people where you're just like, oh, they're so cool, they're so nice, whatever. But they're not going to challenge you. They're not going to push you to be the best version of you, right? Like, Jade, if you came to me and you're like, hey, I want to do this, da 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 da, I'd be like, okay, cool. I'm going to do this, this, and this. But if I was negative towards it, or saying, Jade, why are you pursuing all this stuff? Like, let's go out and have fun every single day, or let's do this, or let's do that, or why? Why are you doing that? That's dumb, right? I'm influencing you versus if you're surrounded by people that are like minded or in a different, in a place that you guys have a similar interest or whatever it is, I'm going to encourage you to do it, right? Or they might have gone through an experience and you can learn from their experience, right? They can be like, "Hey, I actually did that, Jade, and this is what happened to me. So learn from my lessons and this is what went wrong. So make sure like your eyes are open to that or whatever and that doesn't happen to you, right?" So I think it's super important to surround yourself with people that are going to support you and be there for you instead of people that are negative. And I think something that is hard is when you grow up, you have these people, oh, they're going to be my lifelong friend. They're going to be my
Ooh.
friend forever.
Yeah,
But
that's what you think.
yeah, but then as you grow and you change as you grow up, I think I struggle with it even today, right? You're like, ooh, we're in totally different places, right? We're different. So, do, like, you just don't have the same things in common. Yeah, it's nice to see them, but do I want to surround myself with them all the time? No,
Yeah. I
right?
fully agree with that 100%. I really to add on to that, I feel like and this is just me personally, right? I don't ever want to be the person that's doing the best in the friend group. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right, right.
I need to have someone to look up to as
Same.
well. If I'm the doing the best in the friend group, that's a problem. And I'm so grateful for my friends cuz I really feel like they're always pushing forward and like pushing me to be better and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So thank God, but like if I did find myself in a place where I was doing the best in the friend group, I'd be like this is we need to maneuver this. Like this isn't going to work for me. So that I think is very important and I would give myself that advice and also I would just really give myself space. Like my advice would be like sometimes you need a break from your friends, right? Like
Hmm.
sometimes like you need space to grow by yourself and then you come back, right? Like just like the way that you said, um like it's not always going to be we're friends forever, right?
Right.
Sometimes you take a break. And I've taken breaks with my friends and then we came back stronger than ever. And sometimes I've cut friends off because they weren't my real friends. Honestly, they didn't want the best for me.
Hmm.
Another piece of advice, not everyone is really rooting for you. Like for real, I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
that's a
Ooh,
huge lesson.
oh, that is a hard one to learn when you think like, oh, like we are trying to get it together. They like fully are like rooting for me and they want the best for me. And then you come to find out they don't and they're really preying on your downfall.
Hmm.
That's a tough one to realize. But I mean, my advice would just be to my younger self is like, it's okay. It doesn't speak on you as a person, it speaks more onto them And
Mhm.
I think that they need to work through that where like if they can't be happy for you or like see you doing good, then that doesn't have anything to do with you. That has everything to do with them, and that's sad, but that's not your job to fix it. Another gem. It's not my job to fix people. It is not. That was their
Mhm.
parents' job. That is not your job to go around trying to fix people. It's not good
Nope.
for your mental health trying to like, oh, I see that you have this problem. Like, let me try to help you out. Let me try and better you. No, 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 no. That was their parents' job. They failed. That's their fault. Like, that is not anything that you are obligated to stick around for. If you want to, fine, that's cool, but you don't have to. And don't feel bad because, oh, like they didn't have the same, did it like that's fine that you realize that, but that doesn't mean that you have to stay and like try and lift them up out of like just like this feeling that you have to like, oh, I feel bad. Like you don't always have to be super nice about things. Like you could be like, this isn't, I'm sorry that your life was like that. I can't take this energy in my life. I'm so sorry. I have to protect my peace.
Mhm.
And I think that's fine.
I
It's
agree.
savage, but it's savage out there. So it'd be like that.
Yeah, 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 and I think it's important for exactly what we had talked about in our prior episodes is know your boundaries, learn who you are, especially when I think as a young person, you're always trying to fit in and do different things, is really figure yourself out, what you like, what you don't like, right? And all this stuff. So it just makes adulthood so much easier, right? Versus like I don't know, like you could be easily influenced, right? And just be like, "Oh, I should help them. They're my friend," right? When if you have a boundary, be like, "Nope, I'm more important," right?
Yeah.
And I think that's another big lesson is I think in our society today, it's kind of frowned upon in a way to think of ourselves first. A lot of the times it's, "Oh, you should be helping people. Oh, you should be giving to people. You should be doing this and that," right? And it's seen to be selfish.
Yeah, especially for women. Like,
Yes.
I feel like women have like that chip on their shoulder all the time where they're like, "Oh, I'm supposed to do this. Like it would be it would be mean for me not to do this." And we're always trying to be so nice and thoughtful and we don't ever want to make people feel bad that we like end up like kind of diminishing ourselves a bit to lift other people up. I feel like
Mhm.
that's like a big thing for women that I've seen where I'm just like, you give so much and that's you need to like pour into yourself. You really do.
Yeah,
A
yeah.
word.
And on that is also if someone freaking gives you a compliment, just accept it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, that took me a long time, and I still feel weird doing it, but just accept it. You can ask any male, like, if you give him a compliment, "Oh," they'll say, "Thanks," and move on. Versus
Yeah.
we'll be like, "Oh, no, it was like" and we downplay it.
Yeah. Or you know what else? We'll like, we'll take the compliment, but we feel like we owe the other person a compliment. So, like,
Mhm.
you'll be like, oh, you look so pretty today. And then like your response, oh my God, you look so pretty today, which is totally fine, right? But it's like, did you sit there? Were you able to accept the compliment? Or did you feel like because you got the compliment, you owed them something? Are you able
Mhm.
to just receive things? That actually came up in I went to a wellness retreat and we had to sit there and be quiet. So, like, this was I didn't realize how difficult it was gonna be, but, like, literally, we had a partner, and we had to sit across from the person, and they would give us compliments for, like, a minute and a half, right? Which doesn't seem like a long time, but it is a long time where you're, like, staring into this person's eyes, and they're just giving you compliments, and I didn't realize how, like, much I was fighting the urge to, like, not receive it or like give them something back in return, right? And so like I
Mhm.
would want to be like, "Oh my god, you too." Like they'd be like, "Oh, like your skin is so beautiful." And I'm like, "Ah." But you have to be quiet. And so like I think just to add on to your point is like be able to receive things and like that be enough. Like that You
Yeah,
could just
yeah.
receive things.
I think it's hard and it's important to learn that early on. It,
Yeah.
it, there's so many lessons that I think we go through, and I don't think we can cover all of them today, obviously, but
No.
I just feel like it's a part of growing up, but I wish I would have just accepted who I was, put up boundaries, listened to my gut, and stop overthinking. I think those
Yeah.
are like my top.
I agree. I think boundaries would be my number one, honestly, like going back to it. Boundaries is like big and bold. Like this is like my number one because I feel like I just got boundaries and just got comfortable, like really like standing like on my boundaries. And every now and then, and honestly, when I say every now and then, I like every week, I'd be like, ugh, like a person is pushing my boundaries, but I'm the one who has to protect the boundary. You're the person who has to protect it. You're always the person who has to protect your boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, like, as for my mental health, protecting my boundaries have been so important. And so that's what I would tell my younger self is like you having boundaries is a version of self-love. Like it's not
Mm-hmm.
you being mean to the person, it's you being nice to yourself. This person is like doing whatever they want to do because it makes them happy. You deserve to be happy too. So
Right.
set your boundaries. If they don't respect it, then I mean, it be like that sometimes, don't it? Like the trash kind of takes itself out. So if you set a boundary and a person is like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you did that. That's so mean." I mean, I'm not gonna tell you to tell them to go straight to hell, but like, hell adjacent. Like it be like that. Like I have to put my boundaries first for my mental health. That's just where I'm at. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be my number one. I think number two, I would tell myself, have a little bit more fun because that's kind of what life is about. Like,
Yeah.
why not? Like, I think about like the times that we like did like not reckless things, but like, just like rowdy things. Like, do you remember that entire trip to Europe? Like, that was a great moment. And you look back on those things and you're like, I'm so happy that I did that. And so I
Mm-hmm.
think now that I'm getting older, I realize like those are the things that I'm happy that I did. So I need to do more of them. Like, versus like, oh, I like sat at home and I don't know. Listen, I love reading the book, so I'm not gonna do that. But like, I sat at home and no, I love rewatching New Girl too. I'm not gonna do that either. Hmm. Um. Actually, I pretty much love everything that I do. Let me think of something I don't like doing. Um. Hmm. What do I not like doing other than working? I'm so sorry. I don't like. I don't know. But who likes working? We do it because we have to. Like, not because it's like whatever. I mean, whatever. We're not going to get into that. We're not the way. But this does bring up a good point is that for me and my younger self, one big stressor that I had was figuring out what I wanted to do in my life. And like what my purpose was and what I was like I felt like I put so much emphasis on what I did for work to like bring me um like self-confidence and like self-validation. It not even self-validation, just like validation in general. And I think that was a big stress for me because I didn't really know what interests me. First, I needed to figure out what I actually liked, which I needed to spend time with myself. But it's also like your job is so that you can get money to go do things that you want to do. So don't make your whole life about work. Like it's not. And you're not going to get the happiness or whatever that you think that you're going to get from work. It's work. Like do
Yeah.
it, get your money and get out. Like that's it.
You
So,
know where I learned this though
huh.
is when we were at the company where we both started.
Okay.
There was someone we worked with, and I remember like she wasn't from California, and every weekend she would go out and do something.
Mm,
Like it was
mhm.
fully booked. Like, oh, I'm gonna go to Hearst Castle, and then next weekend I'm going here, and then I'm going there. And she explored so much, and she used to tell me like, they pay me to be here 8 hours a day, and that's it, not a minute more. And even when I got hired on, I would be working more because we were salaried. She's like, she would come and be like, come on, Aileen, let's go. It's 2 o'clock. What are we still doing here? And I'm so grateful for her because I think she taught me that work is not your whole life.
Yeah.
Work is to make you money so you can go and enjoy other things that you like to do.
Yeah. I I feel like once I realized that, I was like, okay. I think it takes off some of the stress of like trying to perfect it and like, do what you gotta do and get out. So
Mm-hmm.
that would be my advice to my younger self. I think also I would say to my younger self, do things that make you confident in who you are as a person. Um, and so by that, and I think our next episode is going to be, we're going to talk about like beauty and stuff like that. But like, listen, if you like painting your nails or, going to get your hair done or something, don't let people make you feel like you're just so caught up with yourself. If that makes you happy, go do what makes you happy. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you like feeling, I don't know, the way that your skin feels after you did a face mask. Go do your face mask and call it a day. And don't let people tell you, why are you doing so many face masks? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
like the real question is, why are you asking me so many questions? Like, I do. I'm gonna do what makes me happy. You go do what makes you happy. And so it's just kind of like, even if people don't approve of what you're doing to make you happy, it doesn't matter. Do what you need to do. That's it. As long as you're not hurting anyone, like, do what makes you happy. And also, minding your business and drinking water is an amazing like skincare routine. I don't care what anyone says. So those are my top three. Those are my top three. Boundaries. Um, like what was the second one? The work one, and do what makes you happy. Yeah, those are my
Mm-hmm.
top three.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Do we have any other advice that you would give to baby Aileen or baby Jade?
No, I think we really covered it all. I mean, and I think going through the lessons of life, we had to learn it in a hard way.
Yeah.
But no, I think those are the tips that I would give baby Aileen or baby Jade.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I think that wraps up our episode for today. So thank y'all all for listening in. We hope that this helps. I wish that I would have listened to that. Like, I wish I would have had like an episode like this when I was growing up. I think this would have been very helpful. So I
Oh,
really do hope that
100%.
this helps. Yes. I hope it helps your mental health. I hope that it just helps like your overall well being. So, with that being said, we hope that you have a good day or a good night, and we hope that you are well. Bye.
Bye.